Hi, we're so happy to be here today with Chrissy and Joscelyn from AccessAR for our first episode of our new segment called InConversation. And Summer and I have been really fortunate in getting to network with amazing people like yourselves and really forming meaningful relationships with people that are really active in the wearable tech space and the tech space generally. And AccessAR is really on the forefront of fostering collaborative efforts between design thinkers and engineers to be able to create meaningful solutions to problems. And they have multiple innovations like Pixels that does just that, but we're gonna let them tell you about that themselves in just a moment. So just to get us started, can you tell us a little bit about your story? What led you here?
I have a background in fashion marketing and operational management, and I moved to Toronto just under 3 years ago and started a master's in fashion at Ryerson. As part of that program, I was researching in-store and digital solutions for pain points in fashion retail. And I landed on AR as a solution, as many people have, and wanted to understand why the potential of AR wasn't being fully commercialized. Why were we not using AR to help bridge the gap between digital and physical retail? So I did a co-op at a AR/VR studio in downtown Toronto, where Joscelyn was working as a creative director and a producer. And she found the problem equally as intriguing.
Yeah.
So she quit her job, I deferred my master's, and off we went to start this company.
That's amazing. It's funny to think about how paths cross at some points to be able to bring us here. So it's great to think about that. But I'm sure, as you know, studying fashion, there are always inspirations for creating meaningful things. So what has been your inspiration for the projects that you're currently working on?
I mean, our original inspiration was Modiface, which is another company that's kind of captured the beauty space with augmented reality. And so we saw what was capable with the kind of high quality makeup effects that you could get with that. And even with Snapchat, we were looking at, people spend so much time playing with dog ears and all these cool fun things, like
hours.
Yeah, exactly. Why wasn't that commercialized yet? And why wasn't it being used for fashion?
Right.
So that company, I guess, was inspiration for us to say, like, why don't we do this in a different kind of niche?
So there are some things that people just use commonly for entertainment or whatever else, but is there anything in technology or technology and fashion that you guys think isn't common knowledge that should be common knowledge by this point, up to where we have reached with AR and VR so far? Or on the other side of the question, is there anything are there any myths about AR and VR out there right now that you just really wish you could change in consumers?
I think there's the expectation from consumers is really high in terms of the quality of the experience that they would like to have. Our first product, Wear, is virtual try-on technology for eyewear that runs on mobile, so not desktop. And the biggest myth is that things should run on mobile the same way they run on desktop. And we're absolutely limited by the hardware, which currently isn't where it needs to be to have a really hyper-realistic experience. So to have an experience that's similar to Snapchat or Instagram in terms of the 3D capabilities, there's currently no web-based solution. It has to be app-based. So that's one myth. People hear a lot of hype like, oh, Shopify has AR plugins that you can change your paint color and do this and do that and drop this into a room. When it's web-based, the performance really isn't there, and it's going to be slow, laggy, and the quality of the models isn't going to be great. It has to be app-based to have any sort of decent level of performance. So there's currently technical limitations. That means the product, the way we envision it, and the way we hope to get it into consumers' hands eventually, the technology just isn't there yet.
So just on the same point, are there any projects that you'd like to tell us about now? Anything that you're working on, to the extent that it's public knowledge, of course?
So right now we're working on Pixels, which are augmented reality Snapchat lenses. And so a lens is essentially just an augmented reality based filter. So filters are 2D art that's kind of like a border or a frame that is overlaid on top of your face or the world around you. Whereas lenses is where you can add 3D elements so that you can actually interact with the scene. So you can put things on your face, or you can trigger different animations. So like you can smile and then make your nose change into a different shape or something weird like
Yeah.
that. So that's what we're doing with Pixels. We're currently targeting marketing agencies and event organizers because that's kind of the biggest area that we could service. And what is the current Snapchat lens we've got out? Should we go into
So
Snapchat?
we just launched one for a CPG peanut butter brand.
Yes.
And it's super cool. It literally transforms the user into a peanut. So just circling back about how we even got back into Snapchat.
Yeah.
You know, Snapchat was the inspiration for our product from the get-go.
Yeah.
But because we've invested so much time and money into the R&D of our own product, we're pretty, you know, we really feel that Snapchat is the most powerful platform to get augmented reality into consumers' hands right now. And in terms of a marketing tool, it's extremely valuable because the level of engagement it offers, especially in terms of like reaching a younger demographic, is incredible. And Snapchat chatters, I think in general, will spend 3 minutes interacting with a single lens. And so for us to just start providing these lenses to a variety of marketers, it's going to just build a case for the AR try-on once we are able to cross that, like, you know, cross the technical hurdles that we and anyone else in the space is facing.
Yeah, no, that's interesting. And I just had the opportunity to play with some new filters. I can definitely say it's more fun than the dog filter, so you guys have to check it out. And just our last question, which is going to be a signature question of ours throughout the InConversation series. In one word, how would you describe the value that lawyers can bring to your business, if any, of course?
A ton of value right from the get-go. You know, I wish if we could do it all over again, I wish we had affordable advice right from the beginning in terms of setting up our company, the ongoing costs, you know, how to structure things in terms of our company setup, agreements between co-founders. We've had, you know, a couple of other people that we started with that were no longer with us, and you know, those kind of breakups can be really difficult. And you know, we were given some not great advice in the beginning, and that was really avoidable. So understanding, like, especially if you're a lawyer that wants to work with startups, just understanding the process and how things, the dynamics between co-founders and companies can change so quickly. Just offering solutions that are really versatile so that people aren't sort of dug into one particular hole that's going to require a ton of legal work to get out of. So just understanding what the pitfalls are, what kind of advice you can give, just to make everything like smooth, easy, and as painless as possible, which obviously there's going to be you know, steps along the way when you're setting up an incorporated entity and things like that. But especially with partnership agreements, it's like there's a lot of nuances and there's a lot of ways of like helping people keep everyone happy, but without forcing people to get married straight out of the gate, and also incurring like big legal costs down the road when you know, if things don't work out. So that's really important.
So I think a lawyer should be like kind of a partner in a sense. Like they have to be your support, they have to know about your business, and they have to really be able to guide you in the right way and actually be involved in the operations of your business from the get-go. So I think that's really important.
The other advice I have for lawyers is, you know, for you, if you know, working with startups, it's essentially like betting on the right horse as well. So I think the most interesting proposals we've heard are from lawyers who will take on startups for a nominal fee or a set amount of fee for like a set fee for a fair swack of legal work. But the trick for you guys is to pick the right startup and ask for a bit of equity, so that if you're backing the right horse, you could potentially make a bit of money on their exit.
And how much more does that help lawyers actually be more engaged, right? Because that's something that they actually personally have a stake in as well.
There you go.
That's just how you form meaningful relationships.
I don't know if there's any like sort of legal conflict bar rules, but anyway, I'm sure it's a thing. But yeah, absolutely, it's a way to stay like engaged and invested.
Well, it's always good to get advice from actual experts. So we're happy to have done this.
That'll be $10,000, please.
Oh my god, worth it though. Thank you. This has been In Conversation with AccessAR.